a lot of these videos actually come from you guys and what you want to hear from us. So one thing that we saw recently, and we kind of just thought let's roll with it, is we're gonna rank the best and worst divisions. So we came up with our list, and we're gonna go and roll through it.
Let's do this.
All right, so we're gonna start with from like the nicest divisions, I
Yeah.
guess, all the way to the grungiest people you don't want to be around. Type of
Exactly.
division. So starting off at number 8, Mike, you want to take us?
So we're going to go with the NFC West. That's going to be, your Rams, your Cardinals, 49ers, and Seahawks. The reason why we picked that was because their fan bases, just in my opinion, really don't do anything out of this world crazy. They're very calm, very cool. It's one of those things. I think they're also kind of younger teams, so they just know where they belong, I guess. And it's just, I see all the time that their fans are very respectful when you go to games.
I think only maybe 100 Rams fans actually showed up to their Super Bowl party. So it's one of those things. Do they even exist?
Exactly.
They let other teams take over their stadium during regular home games. So that's another thing that's not really cool. And then Seahawks fans, they just want their Starbucks. Like they want to pay their $8 for their coffee. That's cool. You do your thing. I'm gonna buy my $3 cup of Dunkin'.
And they're just truly loud, the Seahawks fans, just because of the way how the stadium is built for the architect for the 12th man. So it's not even like they're loud naturally. It's they have to build their stadium to be loud.
Yeah. So going off number 7, we got the NFC North. That's, as Mike was talking to me about this before, they're actually a really fun division. They're just like, they got cool teams in there. The Vikings and the Lions, I think, are two teams that are always just about vibes.
They're almost what I would like to call them is the lovable losers. I mean, think about it. In our time, how many of them have won a Super Bowl? Just the Packers.
Yeah.
Since, when we were born, besides Rodgers, Super Bowl, that's the only one I remember. So to me, they're the lovable losers because of the fact that they're just great fan bases overall. I love watching their games, and I love seeing their fans, and I like seeing their fans happy for the most part.
And I think they're going to be, I think the Bears are going into a dome stadium. So it's like, it's just, the stadiums, I think, are pleasantly, like, they're easy to look at. It's not snowing. It's not, like, really bad weather.
It's not rugged anymore.
Mm-mm. And I will say, I think they're an underrated group for uniforms.
Okay.
Mike, take it off.
So number 6, we're going to go with the AFC South. And the reason why we picked that is this is where you start getting a little bit of delusion between the teams. They've had their, like, moral victories, but they've never really been the best ever.
And I think this is a younger, like, division group, too.
Yeah, between the Texans.
There's a lot of movement, too, in this one now that I look at it.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where their fan bases, again, are, in my opinion, they're good fan bases, but they just start become a little delusional off their wins. I mean, really no great ever seasons for most of these teams, but they'll act like the few seasons that they have that have been good, they'll act like they're Super Bowl champs,
Yeah, and I think these are some great cities, too. Nashville, we went there once. It was a really fun time. The stadium is right next to the Strip. You can be in there in about like a 10-minute walk, so that's super easy. Jacksonville is, I think, one of the more walkable cities in Florida and even into the Southeast, so that's really fun. It's a good time, I've heard. And we won't be going this year. We thought we were going to a Patriots and Jags game, but they shipped us off to London, so that will be cool. But then the Texans, I've always thought that that's an underrated city. Houston seems like it's just booming. Heading over and down to where we're at, the NFC South, I think this division is just gritty. Like every year, someone takes it over again, but you don't know which one it's going to be. For a couple of years, it was the Bucks. When we were younger, it was the Saints. You had that one year with the Panthers. That was cool. So it's one of those things like this is a true boxing match, and usually it's Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore.
And then the way how I look at it with this division is this isn't just like in the stadium, it's what goes outside. I mean, you have ATL. They are crazy. They are loud. They love their hip hop, and they show it inside their stadium. You got the Saints. I mean, oh my God, Bourbon Street alone, just like those fans, they're crazy. They are a fun type of crazy. And then the Bucks. I mean, like I look at Bucks fans, I'm just like, these are the people you want to be around.
I think this might be the best group of people that dress up for games too.
They do.
They dress up as pirates and like voodoo people. I think that's awesome. That's such a fun time.
Exactly. It's one of those things. They're a fan base, a group of fan bases that they love to have their fun, and everything they do outside the stadium, I'm just sitting there like, this is why they have to be up there on our list.
Going with the AFC West, Mike?
They're at number 4, and this is where it starts to get a little bit crazier. I mean, we're going to push, in my opinion, to the Broncos and the Chargers to the side, which is kind of crazy that it's essentially the two-headed dragon between what's left. You got the Chiefs and the Raiders. Raiders Nation is terrifying.
I think that's what moves them so far up. Is literally just the Raiders.
I mean, just one end zone to me is where I sit there and say, like, these guys are wild.
I've heard tickets sometimes in that club section are about like 10 grand. So it's like you want to be there for the party and the fans want to be there for their football team. And it's just like a clash of so many different fan groups coming together. So I've seen Twitter fights galore on that in their stadium.
And then I look at the Chiefs, Tony. This is kind of like, I mean, this is outside the lines, in my opinion. The reason why I think that a lot of people don't like the AFC West is because of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I mean, they like, it's their pop culture right now. People can say what they want about Taylor Swift. I think that it's kind of one of those things where I don't necessarily like seeing her be the main attraction at games. You know, it's the players, not like the celebrity fans. And then on top of that, like I just saw today how a lot of the wives and girlfriends are getting a reality TV show for the Chiefs. And I think that's just one of those things where it's kind of just cringy to me. So they're just a very like cringe group. And I think that a lot of us football fans would agree that we're here to watch football, you know?
Yeah, we're not here for the drama. Mm-hmm. But it could add a whole new group of fans into the game. So maybe that is what we need, actually. Maybe the Kansas City Chiefs reinvented the football wheel. Going over to the AFC North, the Bengals, Browns, Ravens, Steelers. I think this has got to be the grittiest like group out there. I don't think anybody's happy in this group of fans. Like, it's cold, it's muggy, the weather's terrible. This is probably your most just, I'm going to get up and sock you in the face if I want you type of group.
Yeah, so I agree. I think that this is the last of the I think that this is the last of the blue collar workers, in my opinion. Like, everybody on here, you look at them and it's they clock in, they clock out, and then they go straight to their football fields. It's one of those things where there's not a lot to enjoy about these cities, so the one thing that you can enjoy is your football team. And so that's why I feel like we had to put them so high as blue collar workers. They're the backbone of this economy. And they're also sometimes the meanest.
Yeah, they're the type of group that just wakes up and pisses excellence. Mike, heading over to the NFC East.
Okay, yeah, number 2, the NFC East. Oh, my God. So the Eagles pretty much took the command on this. And, I mean, I've just, like, seen some of the weirdest, funniest stuff ever happen whenever you watch Eagles fans. I mean, they're loud, they're terrifying, and they'll also eat horse poop. What about you, Tony? What do you think?
I just think this is one of those groups where it's funny because the Cowboys are nowhere near any of the other three, so I don't know why they even got put in this division. That's besides the point. But, man, do the Cowboys fans, they come out and you know, like, who they are before they even step into the building. And I think they're pretty close to our number one, but it's one of those things. This is a group of fans and division that should be proud of themselves for how just loyal and
dedicated and
brutally mean sometimes they can be.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'll agree to that.
Before we head over to our number one, which I assume you guys already know, this video is sponsored by nobody, actually. So if you want to help us get sponsored or anything, let us know down in the comments below or hit us up on any of our socials. We'll be happy to message you back and something that we're trying to look to get into. But heading over to our number one, we have the AFC East. This is the division that we as fans belong in, and I think this one is got to be the worst by far.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm going to stick with just the Patriots, Tony, on this one. I'll let you have the rest. But us Patriots fans, like, we have become so used to winning that it was one of those things. It was a cocky group of fans. It was one of those things where you went into the game, you just knew you were going to beat up whoever you were going to play, and it was disrespect in terms of the fact that we knew we were better than you and we can put everything on the field, so we barely have to do any of the talking, but we just get to enjoy the game. and it was just one of those things. It was silent assassins essentially.
And I guess I'll take over for the rest of the three teams. I mean, the Bills and Jets, like, coming from New York, those people, I honestly love them. They're a little crazy. They're fun. They jump off of tables. I don't know why. I think you and I should try that at least once in our life. But I don't get where that tradition started. Dudes are taking mustard and ketchup in the face, so
Yeah.
that's a little weird. But I think it's something that, and the Jets fans, it's like they will just talk, what to you. And I think that's just got to be a fun time. I don't know if I'd want it towards me, but that's besides the point. And then the Dolphins fan, I think they're just there to party. And it happens to be right now that their team is good. So they're just, I think, a wild group. And, I mean, players are literally getting arrested coming in the stadium. Shout out Tyreek Hill. I just think that, this division takes the cake in the worst, but the best.
It's one of those things too. I mean, you hear about all their tailgates. I don't want to mention it because I want to keep it PG, but there's just some things that I've heard that I sit there and question myself, like, is this morally correct for football?
Thank you for keeping it PG.
Yeah, I just can't believe like some of the things over the years I've heard at Dolphins tailgates. So other than that, I think that's going to be our best and worst divisions in terms of fandom.
And while they're keeping it PG, we're going to be keeping it real and doing more of these videos. So when you can, just like, comment. We got a lot last time, so it's something that we want to keep doing. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.